This is a giant Minecraft Christmas present, and inside of it is one of the hardest puzzles which I am going to be attempting to escape. I spawned inside of a bedrock box, so I began by looking around me. I found a couple signs stating the rules, no breaking signs, and no breaking presents. In front of me there was a long hallway with an entrance to another room at the end. There was also an ice floor right outside of the box. I saw no way to escape, so I decided to look in F5, and that's when I found an item frame with a boat in it. I crouched to the very edge of the bedrock, and I hit the item frame to drop the boat. I then used the boat to escape and made it across the ice. On this side of the room, there's a pool of lava blocking me from the next room. The lava was 5 blocks across, so I wouldn't be able to make the jump. You've all probably seen this a million times, so I'm just going to move on to the next room. The next room was 3 blocks high, so if I dropped down, I wasn't coming back up. There were 2 blocks of snow in front of me, as well as a target and an upside down zombie. I was about to drop down, but I remembered seeing 3 snow blocks on the floor, so I checked those first. Underneath the third one, I found a present, and inside of it was a carved pumpkin. I now decided to drop down because I had a block to get back up if I needed to. Now I was able to see that there was a hole in the roof and lava in the wall. I used F5 and found there was something behind the lava, so I knew that was where I needed to go. I realized I probably needed to hit the target, but I did not need a projectile. Or at least that's what I thought. I could actually place the pumpkin on top of the snow blocks to make a snow golem. The snow golem would then start to shoot at the zombie, and eventually it will miss and hit the target. So I created the golem and waited for it to hit the target. The target ended up activating a dispenser, and it dropped a suspicious stew. Even though I had no way of knowing, it was safe to say the stew would give me fire resistance, considering there was nothing left in this room. So I ate the stew and swam through the lava to the next room. The next room had a floor covered in powdered snow that led to another room. The problem was if I touched the snow, I would get stuck and freeze, and the snow was too deep to break. Fortunately, there was another room on my left, so I decided to check that out. Inside of this room, there were tons of presents, so I began unwrapping them. I ended up finding 4 pieces of leather total, and now I knew what to do. I needed to make leather boots because you are actually able to walk across powdered snow without sinking if you are wearing leather boots. But the problem was I didn't have a crafting table. So I looked around and I ended up finding this little hole that had a sign that read, "Looking for a crafting table? Better hope it didn't burn." I now knew that the crafting table was most likely in the lava, so I went back and checked. Sure enough, I found it behind the lava and I made my leather boots. The next room had 3 parts: an ice parkour leading to a present, a 1-block hole in the wall which looked like it went to the next room, and a sheep that was hanging from the roof. I decided to start with the ice parkour because it was the most straightforward part. When I got to the end, I opened the present and it had a book and a crafting table. I opened the book and it said, "You're getting colder," so I went back to the main room. Next, I checked the hole in the wall and ended up finding a hidden present. The present contained 8 string, and now with the sheep on the roof, I was pretty sure I needed wool. So I made the string into wool, built up, and started punching the sheep. After that, I had 3 wool, but the only thing I could make was carpets. Carpets wouldn't be of much use to get me through this hole, so I had to be missing something. At this point I was stumped, but then I remembered I was missing something. I was able to break the powdered snow from earlier, so something could be hiding under it. It didn't take very long until I found another present, this time containing 3 wood planks. Now I was able to make a bed, which I could use to get through the hole. So I picked up my crafting table and placed the bed inside the next room. There were a few obstacles that I needed to use my blocks to get past, and I made it to a snow globe room. This room was completely covered in barriers, so I couldn't break out, and there was a bedrock house as well as a ton of snow and ice on the floor. I also found a crafting table on the roof and a sign inside of the house that said "Start digging." So I started digging in the house and I found a present. The present contained 5 turtle scoot, and I was pretty sure I needed to make a turtle shell, but I didn't know why. So I parkoured on these floating snow blocks to get to the crafting table on the roof. When I made it to the roof, there was another present with nether wart, a water bottle, and blaze powder. So I made the turtle shell, and now I was pretty sure I needed to make a potion, but I didn't have a brewing stand. So I looked around some more and found a massive hole that I would die from if I fell in it, and I was sure that that was the exit. That was it though, so I did the last thing I could do, and started digging up the floor. When digging the floor, I actually found that over 99% of you are not subscribed, and that is embarrassing, so please subscribe. Eventually I saw particles coming out of one of the blocks, and I realized that they were coming from the brewing stand. So I made my awkward potion, and then I made the potion of the Turtle Master. The potion of the Turtle Master would give me resistance, and that would allow me to fall down the hole without dying. So I drank the potion, and I dropped down the hole into the next room. The next room was an ice cave, and there was a present in the corner. The present had 3 steak in it, so I was able to get my health back. Other than the present, I could see nothing else in this room. I was about to start breaking the blocks again when I noticed something different about a few of the blocks. These blocks were powdered snow, which meant I could walk through them. The ones in the middle were too high up, so I decided to walk through the ones on the right. I ended up immediately falling into a room with a crafting table and a furnace. At the bottom of the room there was a water pool with kelp in it. So I collected the kelp, but I didn't really know what to make with it. I decided to use the crafting table to get back into the other room to see if I missed anything. But then I realized that I could smelt the kelp to make a dried kelp block. This block would help me get to the powdered snow that was 2 blocks high. So I smelted all the kelp, made the block, and walked up into the next room. The next room was full of presents, and there was 1 block of ice with lava underneath it. I knew I needed something to melt this ice, so I checked all of the presents. When I got to this present, something weird happened, and items started dropping from the sky. There was actually a dispenser in the roof, and whenever I opened the present, it would drop items. Eventually, the dispenser ran out of items, and I had 7 item frames, a shovel, and a torch. So I went back to the ice and used the torch to melt it. I swam down the ice, and I was in a large room with a candy cane and 2 snow golems on each side of it. I walked into the candy cane and saw a massive hole which looked like it went to the surface. I had no blocks to build up, but luckily I had this diamond shovel from the previous room, and I could use it to break the snow underneath the golems to make snow blocks. When I had enough snow, I built up in the candy cane and I made it to the surface, successfully escaping the prison.